Thanks for joining me today. My name is Anne-Marie, and welcome to the Sandwich Generation, where we are stuck between our kids and grandkids and our parents and grandparents, and you and I are just stuck here in the middle trying to make it all work out for everybody. I want to talk to you a little bit about your weekends and how they used to go versus how they go now. And I can also tell you, if you watched the video where there was an emergency in my family recently, that our emergency is still ongoing. And so we are also spending our weekends the way we're just about to talk to you about. So if you have a loved one who is in the hospital over a weekend, a holiday, something like that, your weekend is gone in terms of what you can do with your own life to meet your own obligations. And that's okay. Don't panic. This doesn't happen a lot, but there are going to be those times in senior living where you're just going to wake up surprised by what happened overnight, and now you're scrambling on a weekend to get everything done before you get back to work on Monday. And it happens more often when you start seeing falls and you get on that merry-go-round of getting them a little bit better, going back home. Okay, they fell, now they're back in the hospital. You get them a little bit better. Okay, now they've had a stroke. Now they're coming back around. They're doing a little bit better. Okay, now they have congestive heart failure and they can't breathe. That really puts you on a fast track with that merry-go-round. So these things are going to happen. Just know that it is part of the process. It's normal. And I want to apologize in advance that you're having to go through this, because it's a struggle. And, you might think that, well, your parents took care of you. Now you're taking care of them. You may have the best attitude about this whole thing in general, but in the real world, eventually it's gonna pile up on you. Eventually you're going to call me and you're going to be so exhausted you can't take another step. You're going to be so exhausted from your husband with dementia staying up all night driving you crazy, and then during the day you're taking care of him too, so there's no opportunity for you to sleep. When you lose that sleep for someone's in the hospital or an ongoing thing like caring for someone with dementia, that adds on to that stress and that load that's on your shoulders. And so I want to tell you that you can go to assisted living and you can have those things worked out for you. So how would that look different if your loved one were in senior living already? How would that look different if they were here at Bradfield Place with us and they were living here? How would that change your weekends? How would that change your stress level? Well, number one, if you're the direct caregiver of someone in their home, it's going to change your life drastically. I remember the first night that my husband wasn't in our home, and it came suddenly. Of course I wasn't prepared, but even still, even with all the shock and the everything, my son and I looked over at each other and just very quietly said, gosh, this is the first time the house has been peaceful in longer than we can remember. It's okay to feel those feelings. It's okay to feel relief from that stress. So that's what would happen if you moved your loved one into assisted living. But let's just say they're keeping you on that merry-go-round and you're going back and forth to the hospital all the time. Well, I'm hoping that when you move them into senior living with us, that first of all, we're going to prevent some of those falls. We definitely cannot prevent every fall, and no one can, so don't let them tell you that. But we do take precautions. We even, train our employees on fall prevention. That's something we're very cognizant of. And then, there's also just the fact that we're going to keep them out of the hospital every chance we get, because every time they go around that merry-go-round circle, every time they go to the hospital and come back out, they're knocked down a couple of pegs. every time that happens, you knock them down a couple of more pegs. So we very much want to keep them out of a hospital setting unless it's necessary. If your grandmother falls and breaks her hip, of course she's going to the hospital because she might need to have a bone set or surgery or other things. But there are so many things in assisted living that we can prevent you going to the hospital. You can bring in a visiting physician. There's just so many things you can do to get that peace back in your life. And the quicker you get that peace back in your life, the quicker you go back to the son or daughter, mother and dad relationship you had before all this crazy started to ensue. So I hope that you'll think this through. Let's talk about it soon. Give me a call. Thanks for watching.